Hey guys, I'm Matt and welcome to Cobb Hill Farms. We're back out working on the outside run for the egg layer chickens today on the back side of our chicken house. Yesterday was 80 degrees and thunderstorms. Luckily for us, we didn't get the most severe stuff. But today it's 50 degrees, it's kind of chilly, but the sun is out. Nice bright sun today, so we're gonna work in the sun. So the project for today is to get the welded wire mesh fencing all the way around and have it fastened to the building and get our T-posts in place. So hopefully by the end of this video we'll have that done, and we might even have gotten started on the access door for the chickens to be able to come outside. So let's get started. So the first thing we got to do is get our corner anchor points on the chicken house mounted, secured. We already did the one end down on the chicken house end of it. Now we're going to do the laying house end of things. So let's figure out how tall we need to make this 2x4. I don't think my screws were long enough. I don't think I got down deep enough into the plywood or even into a 2x4 stud that should be behind this 2x4 here. So I'll have to get some longer screws, but I think it's good enough for now. We should still be able to get the wire mounted up. I can always add the screws after the fact. This is going to be fun to work with, I can already tell. Well, let's see if we can get this end fastened at least. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it tight from the building to this wood post, put a row of staples in, and I'll go down to the other post and pull it tight from this post to that post. But one thing I noticed already is I'm about 2 inches short on my post. So what I'm going to do is dig out around the bottom of the post to get this wire to go down. The main reason is if I leave it sticking up, then this top wire doesn't have anything to pull against, and it'll always be a little on the slack side, a little on the loose side. So I want to have this top wire on the post here somewhere. So I got to dig out a little bit at the bottom. Alright, so I want to pull the bottom of this fence wire tighter than what I had. So I kind of came up with a game plan to hopefully achieve that. So I'm going to weave this punch down inside the wire mesh. There we go. Then I'll take this old V-belt and hook it to the back of the New Holland. Now let's see what I can get done. Now let's take a walk down and see what this looks like. Oh, that's a lot tighter than what it was. I think I can live with that. I'll pick this thing up for the third time. See if I can't figure out how much wire I'm going to need to get to the end. Well, that proved to be a little more difficult than I was expecting, but we got staples in it. That'll hold it for now. I'll probably go back through and put some more in later on. But overall, I mean, I guess I'm pretty happy with how tight it is. Eight days later, and here we are. The chickens are outside enjoying their new space. So where I left off with you last was we got the welded wire mesh all stretched out, and I had to get the T-posts in the ground. Well, I had some things come up, and that's all I got done for that day. Well, then a day or two went by. I was able to spend a little bit of time getting the T-posts in the ground. Didn't film any of that, just I had a spare little bit of time and got it done. So we got 3 T-posts along the long side of the fence here. We got 1 on each end. They're wired up, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with how straight it looks. So the last 5 days or so have just been a wet, rainy, miserable time around here. So one of those days where I had some time, I got the door built so the chickens could come outside and utilize this. So when it comes to the door construction for letting the chickens outside, it's pretty simple. This panel is a kitchen cabinet door. I went to my local hardware store, and I didn't want to buy a 4x8 sheet of plywood for just this little project. So they had some old kitchen cabinet doors laying around out back, so they let me go out and pick out one I wanted, and I brought this one home, and I built a framework out of just some 3/4 inch by whatever. This is, I think, 2 inches wide for the outside piece of the channel. On the inside there's a 3/4 inch thick by 1 inch board that helps space this channel out so the door can slide, but it does need a little bit of adjustment. I framed the main building in with 2x4s, so that way it had good solid mounting structure to it, and it worked pretty good. When I originally put this in, the door would slide nice and freely, but I think what's happened is things have gained a little bit of moisture being out here. So what I need to do is readjust these outside rails so the door will slide nice and freely again. So that's the first thing we're going to get done. Oh, much better. Now I think instead of using this makeshift rope, we're going to make a little bit more of a permanent solution for raising and lowering this door. I gotta get this old rope out of the way first. Alright, get this out of the way. So, the first order of business is to put an anchor in the top of this door to hook my rope to so I can pull the door up and down. So I think what I gotta do is kind of roughly try to find center. And then I want to drill a pilot hole down through the top of this door frame. We'll see how this door works, this cabinet door. This kind of maybe a temporary deal, or it might be permanent. We'll just have to see how long it lasts and how it holds up to the wind. I think that's good enough. I think that'll do the trick. So the goal I'm trying to achieve today is I want to be able to get this door to open by pulling on a rope over here. So what my plan is, we're going to mount a pulley up here and a pulley somewhere over here. So when I pull on the rope over here, that door will go up and open. That's what we're trying to achieve. I don't know if it'll work or not. Where am I going to mount this? I wonder. Well, I guess the only way to know to find out is try something. So now I think in order for this door to pull straight up so it doesn't bind, I think I need to put a 2x4 across this 4x4 over to this plate for this truss. So I think I need to get a 2x4 to fill this gap. What are the ladies up to? I don't think they're very happy with my presence in here. Yep, there they go. So the day that I was building this door assembly, it was raining out so hard I could barely hear myself think, let alone try to do any kind of filming in here with the tin roof. So that's why, one of a few reasons, I didn't record any of it. Really? I guess I need to drill pilot holes for everything. I guess we'll try that. So being in the fire service, they teach you a lot of different knots. And I'm not very good at remembering all these knots. So my philosophy is, if you can't tie a knot, then you just tie a lot. So that's what I'm doing. Alright, so let's pull the slack out of this. And see how it works. What's the matter, ladies? It goes up and down. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is figure out the overall length I want this rope. So, I don't know, somewhere in here ought to be alright. And I'm going to take and slide this washer up through here and figure out just where I want to tie it off. I think that'll work. Alright, I think I'm happy with that. We'll leave a little tail on there. Call it good. So now, the last piece of the puzzle is what's going to hold the door open. So I want to get the door up as high as it needs to be, which ought to be right there. And then I'm going to put a screw somewhere right there. I think that'll work. Well, that was pretty easy. We have a fully functioning pulley system for the chicken door. 8 days later, and the outside run for the ladies is finally done, and I'm sure they greatly appreciate the added space to be able to get outside and scrounge around and see what they can find and enjoy the fresh air. As far as anything for our egg layers goes, building wise, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're done. I don't plan on doing anything more, so we're going to try to move on to some other things here on the farm we want to do. The only other thing with the egg layers I want to get done is try to get the Premier One pasture net fencing up and get them out on green grass, but you know, we got to wait for it to dry out a little bit and wait for a decent stretch of dry weather to come before we do that. But other than that, that's about it. So we got to get the broilers out on pasture. The first batch of broilers in the brooder, they got to go out because we got another batch coming next week. So that'll be coming down the road. The Farm Wall 460 project, for those that have been watching or waiting for videos on that, I have all the hard parts to get that thing back together. I'm just waiting on some seals and gaskets. That stuff's ordered. I had to get that right through the local dealer, so I'm just waiting on them. Then once I have that stuff, it's going to be gung-ho getting that thing back together because hay season's right around the corner. May not seem like it right now, but I got a feeling it's going to go from 40s and 50s and rain to 75, 80 degrees, humid, and nothing but sunshine. So I want to be ready for it when it comes. But if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you like our channel, as always, we ask you to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please hit that subscribe button below. We greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.